Well, I think it's wonderful that you, as general manager, isn't that right?
Director.
General director. General director. I want to ask you about just what that means, but it is essential to have somebody in that position that really gets his kicks from sitting in that seat and seeing the product.
Absolutely.
Because there's so many people that are in managerial positions that work behind the scenes but don't really get their kicks, as I say.
But it has to be a passion. With me, it's an obsession. It's gone. I mean, opera has always been an obsession, and I can go night after night and just sit there and watch the performances and see and watch the 6th performance of Traviata and still find
you can go through all the heartache as long as the performance comes out well. That's marvelous. Can we talk a little bit about what your
general
job
director
entails?
means? What it means is that as the public, every single thing that you will see and hear, I'm responsible for. That's the quickest summation. I'm also involved in helping to market the product. We've changed our ads, for instance. We used to have very stuffy, stolid ads. And I just felt this is a young group of American singers, and they're really a snappy bunch of kids, snappy bunch of people. And I tried out the first ad and jazzed it up a little bit. For instance, we feel like hell, come see Faust tonight. I wanted to put, our common is the best, no bull, but they wouldn't let me do that one. That was one of my favorites. But you know, we talk about Falstaff, come see the waist watchers. We have all Manon, may we, you know, things like little catchy things. And I have stressed the fact that we are the national opera company of this country. We are the only American, at least we're about 97% American, repertory company in this country, consequently in the whole world, in terms of the 98%, 97% American. And so our posters are red, white, and blue. And it's interesting, you know, I have started to talk about this company, that it should be the National Opera Company, that England has the English National Opera with Covent Garden, and they're the Scotch National Opera, and even La Scala has a Piccola Scala. And down in Buenos Aires at the Teatro Colón, they closed their doors for 2 or 3 months, only presenting their own singers. And I don't believe that the arts should have boundaries. I don't think that if only Germans should sing Wagnerian opera. If that were true, you never would have had Kirsten Flagstad or Birgit Nielsen or John Vickers. I don't think it's only the Viennese who know how to sing Mozart. I mean, I can name you off the top of my head a few little people like Ezio Pinza and Cesare Siepi. They did very nicely with Mozart repertoire. So I'm not for boundaries. I'm simply saying that there has to be one company in this country that takes care of the American artist, which is, after all, part of our national heritage. And that's why I feel the New York City Opera is the National Opera Company, because we are the only repertory company that is a showcase for the American artist.
Are you putting boundaries on the company in terms of artists, American artists?
Yes, I am. I'm stressing the fact that that this New York City Opera Company is a showcase for the American artists. Look, we have the greatest international shrine in the world in the Metropolitan Opera here. We have companies like San Francisco, companies like Chicago. They're all international. I'm not saying that we should only have American opera singers here. Not at all. That's not, first of all, we should be very proud that still the greatest opera house in the world is in this country, and that is, of course, the Met. That's not what I'm talking about. I am simply stressing that one house ought to dedicate itself to the American artist, and that's what I want the New York City Opera to do.
What is the reason for the presence of so many American singers in this decade in the world? Why is it that there are suddenly so many American singers making it?
Because I think we're getting over our inferiority complex. I think as recently as 25 years ago, the only opera singer who knew how to sing an Italian opera had to have an Italian name, and the only opera singer that knew how to do German repertoire should be. In other words, if it had a difficult name to pronounce, it was automatically considered to be an excellent opera singer. And if you could have an easy name like Leontine Price and Marilyn Horne and Shirley Barrett and Grace Bumbry and Cheryl Milnes, and if I may immodestly include myself, how could they sing well? You can pronounce those names. There was a kind of inferiority complex here. Very much like only the Paris dress was the highly fashionable one. Now we know that's not true anymore either. So we're what I'm saying is that we're beginning to take a little pride in our own. Again, I'm not saying that every label should be an American label and that every opera star should be an American. That's not what I mean at all. I'm simply saying that one opera company in this country should be dedicated to the American artist and receive government support as such. And the New York City Opera, with the employing of so many American artists, is the obvious national opera company.